Hello and welcome to Juice with Justin. In today's episode, I'm going to cover training for the vertical jump if I could only do 4 exercises. So, the 4 things I'm going to cover. 1, something for the lower leg complex. 2, a big strength exercise. 3, some sort of vertical force power production. Lastly, some sort of horizontal force power production. So for category 1, the lower leg complex, I'm talking about the foot, ankle, and calf complex here. It's super important because it's the first thing that touches the ground. I would go for a classic exercise here, and it's called the Pogo. It's a lower level plyometric. It's very simple and easy to perform. I've got tons of resources when it comes to Pogos. It's a staple I use with all my athlete clients here at PPC. And I've got a really good article on the web for this thing, and I'll put it in the show notes. So that covers the lower leg complex. 2, we need a big strength exercise. Strength is key when it comes to increasing your vertical jump. If you're weak and you get stronger, chances are, just from getting stronger, your vertical jump is going to improve. For the big strength lift, I would use a trap bar deadlift or squat, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a hybrid movement. A trap bar or hex bar is different from other pieces of equipment as it spreads weight around 6 points. This makes it a little bit more lower back friendly, and there's going to be an easier learning curve. So in my opinion, the reward for the risk is better for a trap bar, squat, or deadlift compared to something like a barbell back squat where there's going to be more spinal compression, maybe a bit more of a learning curve, or compared to something like a barbell conventional deadlift, same thing. The bar is in front of you, the load's in front of you, there's going to be more spine shearing, maybe a bit more of a learning curve. If we're just trying to increase the vertical jump, we're trying to create a strength stimulus, I think the trap bar deadlift squat is going to be more bang for your buck than the other ones. I'm going to take a quick pause to announce our last winner of our PPC approved business giveaway. We set this up as a way to promote spending at local businesses here in Saigon during these challenging times. The winner of the El Gaucho giveaway is Tim DeCock. I'll be in touch. Maybe take your parents out for dinner. 3rd, we need some sort of vertical power, vertical force production exercise here. I would probably choose a drop jump. So this involves falling off of a box a certain height, anywhere from 6 inches and above, landing on the ground with 2 feet and exploding back up onto a box. This is a plyometric exercise that works the stretch shortening cycle, which is also a key for increasing one's vertical jump. Where people go wrong with this exercise is they typically choose a starting height, the box in which they fall off on. They choose a box that's kind of too high. We need to choose a box height that allows you to land on the ground, quickly absorb the force safely, and propel that energy back up onto the box. When you hear and see it, there should be that quick turnaround from dropping off the box, hitting the ground, and coming back up. If there's a bit of a lag, if the person can't handle that drop, the box height is going to be too high. With this exercise, it's more about the speed in which one changes direction off the ground as opposed to box heights and things of this nature. Last exercise, we want some sort of horizontal power or force production movement. With this one, I'm going to go with a sprint. One could argue that sprinting is the most demanding plyometric activity there is. The great thing about sprints is we can work them in a variety of fashions. We can work on accelerations, we can work on top end speed, we can work on coordination. Sprinting is really good for single leg strength, so this could tie into a one-legged jump as opposed to, say, the previous exercise, which is more like a two-legged jump. Word of caution with sprints, a big mistake people make with this one, they'll typically choose distances too long when they start doing sprint training. Someone might start and just go 150 meters, 5 to 10 reps. That's way too much. That load on the body is huge, especially if you're just getting into something like sprinting or if you've had a long layoff. I would bias sort of two types of sprints. One, I would do 10 to 20 meter flies. It's a little bit less taxing on the body. So say, for example, we did a 10 meter fly. We'd use a 10 meter lead up where we're sort of warming up into the sprint and then sprint for the following 10 meters. If we keep the volume low, we can train the quality that we want, horizontal force production, while keeping the load on our body lower. So I would go, 10, 20 meter flies, something like that. You don't really need to do too many, 3, 4, 6 at the most, just to train that quality. On the other side of things, I would probably do 100 meter plus sprints. You don't need to go too crazy. It doesn't need to be 400 meters, 800 meters. Probably any distance that lasts less than 25 seconds. By doing these longer distance sprints, we're going to be able to reach top speed, and you're going to get some really great horizontal and vertical force production qualities out of this one. Word of caution, when you do longer sprints, 100 plus meters, we want to keep our volume lower as this is going to be much more taxing on our body. Also, this is something that we want to work up towards. So again, lower volume. I might do 2 to 4 sprints like this, making sure we get lots of rest, a couple minutes in between your sets. I wouldn't do this very often, maybe once a week maximum. So there you have it. If I only had 4 things that I could do to work on my vertical jump, I would hit the lower leg complex with some low-level plyos or pogos. I would get my one big strength exercise in, trap bar deadlift, trap bar squat. I would get some sort of vertical force production, that drop jump plyometric. And lastly, horizontal stuff, sprinting. Hope that helps. Thanks for joining this episode of Juice with Justin.